And what is mind-boggling is that you don't need a fancy strategy. You don't need to be picking individual stocks. You don't even need to be a genius. To make a lot of money, you do not have to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to remember a few key things.
How can you prove to me that this is the way to make wealth? What case studies have you got that investing in funds over a long period of time is the path to financial wealth? Because, you know, you said earlier about the paint drying thing. The narrative that we see about how people get rich is, you know, they sell a company or they have a lottery win, or maybe they buy some cryptocurrency and it goes up.
Yeah.
That's what we hear.
That's
so
what we
try and emulate.
Totally.
Prove to me that this fund strategy is better.
Well, there's a couple things. First off, the research over more than about 100 years shows the returns of the stock market. And the returns tend to be, at least in America, they tend to be around 11%, 10 to 11%. And if you take out inflation, you get about 7 to 8% per year. Now, for anyone listening, they go, okay, well, what does that mean? That number means nothing to me, 7%, whatever. If you go right now and you Google investment calculator and you just plug in your age, you plug in, let's say, $200, $300 a month, and you plug in 7% return, and you just watch how that money grows, you will be shocked.
Jack, get me my phone. I'm going to do it now.
Okay, so let's search for compound interest calculator. And there's a really simple one. It's called Money Chimp.
Okay, I've got it.
All right, so there's 4 numbers we need to fill out here. Let's take a look. The first is current principal. That means how much you've got in the bank.
I'm going to say $5,000, and I'm going to start when I was 16. Because if I'd saved my money when I was 16 and not spent it recklessly, I think I could have had that $5,000 when I was 16. Annual addition, what does that mean?
How much can you invest per year? So for most people, they think about on a monthly basis. They might say $200 a month, which would be $2,400 annual addition.
Okay, so
what do you want to say?
I'm going to say, can I say $5,000?
Yeah, that's, about $400 a month. I think that's reasonable. I often find that with people making median or slightly above median salary, that there are hundreds of dollars a month of money that is unaccounted for, that if properly made intentional, could be invested. So great, $5,000 a year. All right.
Obviously, I could have, once I got past a certain age, I could have increased that though. So
we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Hold on to that idea.
Okay.
How many years? This was you at 20?
This was me at 16.
Oh, okay. And how old are you today?
30.
Okay. So 14 years. Let's just do it until today and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right.
14 years.
And then it says interest rate. So what should we assume for that?
Is that 8%?
Yeah, 7 to 8. I do 7 just to be super conservative because I never want to be surprised on the downside.
Right.
If anything, I'm going to make more. So 7%. All right, let's calculate it. Okay. What do you see?
Damn.
What do you see?
$133,000, 537.
Yeah, that's what you would have had right now. Now let's add some context. So this is really important. You see a number that says $133,000 at age 30.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a lot? Is that not? I don't know. Let's break it down. At that point, you started with $5,000 and you invested $5,000 per year. We assumed no raises, even though you obviously made more than you made at age 16. We assumed you stopped investing at age 30, which is obviously ridiculous. And you end up with 6 figures. Let's play it out. Let's take it until 40. So instead of 14 years, you invested for 24 years. What do you see?
I would have $336,000.
It's getting better.
From just $5,000 a year.
It's not much.
It's fantastic.
Again, $400 or so a month is very modest. Remember, people's income goes up typically in their 30s and 40s. And if you already are investing a little bit automatically, all you have to do is just tweak a number and it will take an extra couple hundred, $300, $400, $500. Let's do one more. Let's go to 34 years just because I want to see what happens. And then we're going to play with the other numbers.
Okay. So investing from the age of 16 until I'm 50, I would have $736,000 in my account.
Yeah. Now I want to do the full thing. I want to do a more realistic number here. So instead of 50, we're going to go 49 years. That takes you to age 65.
Yeah.
Okay. And instead of $5,000 per year, your income obviously went up from being 16 years old. So I'm going to pick a number out of thin air, and I'm going to tell you how I picked it. I'm going to say instead of $5,000 a year, it's actually going to be $30,000 per year. Let me tell you why I picked that. In your early years, you don't have as much money, but you were still investing a little bit, which shows that you're dedicated. As your income goes up, you're going to start proportionally continuing to invest. So at a certain point, your income will be really high, and that will bring that average up. That's why I switched it to $30,000 per year. I actually think this is quite modest, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. So here we have someone starting investing at $5,000. They invest $30,000 per year. Okay. They grow it for 49 years at 7%. Do you know the math?
No, tell me.
$12,303,000.
So that's me starting with 5K, gradually ratcheting it up until I'm investing 30K a year per average across those 49 years.
Yes, which is a flaw in this because it's so simple.
Yeah.
That money invested, you're not actually going to invest that much early on. You'll invest more later.
Yeah.
So you'll maybe have a marginal amount less, but we're talking 10 versus 12 million. That's a lot of money.
And then if I got 8% instead of the 7%, I'd have 17.4 million.
Yeah, but don't mess with that. Because this
that's
is what people
part.
do. They go, well, if I got 13%, I'm going to invest in this PE fund. I go, don't do that. You're going to lose all your money. Just stop.
Yeah.
7% is safe. It's conservative. That's why I am here. That's why I want to encourage people. You don't need to juice your returns. I hope you do get 8%, but I don't want you to count on that. I want you to count on safe, stable returns. And what matters for you is the time you started early and the amount. You have a considerable amount to invest.
What about the richest people in the world? You know, we think of the Warren Buffetts of the world or the Charlie Mungers of the world who ended up becoming the richest investors on planet Earth.
Yeah.
What was their strategy?
I'll tell you. Let's talk about Warren Buffett. There's a friend of mine, Morgan Housel. He wrote this amazing article.
I love that book.
Yeah, The Psychology of Money. He wrote this amazing article about Warren Buffett. If you look at Warren Buffett's returns, he started investing at a very young age, and the money compounded. Again, it's like putting the turkey in the oven and letting it sit there, not just for an hour, but many hours. In his case, 60 plus years. He has made over 99% of his wealth happened over the age of 60. Okay? Think about that. It's all because he started investing so far ago. And what is mind-boggling is that you don't need a fancy strategy. You don't need to be picking individual stocks. You don't even need to be a genius. To make a lot of money, you do not have to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to remember a few key things. Start as early as possible. Okay? And if you're not 16 years old, if you're 30, 40, even 45, okay, start now. Second, invest aggressively every single month. That's critical. Third, keep your costs low. 1% in fees is going to take 28% of your returns. 2% is going to take over 55% of your returns. Keep your costs low. If you do those things, you will have more money than you ever imagined.